All right, one of my viewers was interested in Elenco kits and stuff, and pointed out the signal tracer kit. I've never owned a signal tracer. I know all about them. I've never built one. I don't do a lot of radio work. The signal tracers are kind of a cool little device. I'll show you how they work. This is the little one from Elenco, but they don't seem to be making this kit anymore. And at least I couldn't find it online anywhere. It's kind of a cool little pen-based one. There is another one that you can buy today from Velleman, Velleman, I guess, and maybe in German it's Welleman. I think it's a German company. Anyway, it's a board, but it doesn't have any case or anything on it. So what is a signal injector? Signal injector / tracer. So let's see if we can find the schematic in here. Well, let's show this first. So this one, it has 2 probes and a loudspeaker. And so why does it have 2 probes? And what's the loudspeaker output? Okay, so and there's the board. Here we go. Here's the circuit. This circuit will explain it well. All right, so when you're troubleshooting a radio, you need to inject signals, and then you need to see if the signals make it through something, like you're testing an IF section or something, or an audio amplifier or something. So this is basically a noise source, right? It's just some type of square wave, and it just outputs a whole bunch of frequencies, and it makes a noise. And there's an output, and it's passively coupled, so you can go reach around and you can inject the signal. And so that's what this is. That's what this part of the circuit is for. And this part of the circuit is just basically this is that. Remember that Chinese kit that I did that was the earphone or the hearing aid? Well, that's just an audio amplifier with an input. There's no microphone. It's just an input, and it's also capacitively coupled. So you can touch around in your circuit and you can listen. So this is just a listener. Now, this thing's a little bit different. It has a, here's the output section. It's got a little oscillator here that outputs, and then it's got a little amplifier here that goes into an earphone. So you have to have an earphone in to use this one. So while this one's nice and small, you still have to have earphones in your ear, so it doesn't seem to be quite useful. I don't like this one so much. And you have to flip a switch whether you're injecting or listening. So anyway, it's interesting. I sort of like this one better. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of buying the kit, which is like $20 for the stupid little, for that stupid little board, is $20. That's just ridiculous. So I'll just wire one up. There's not that many wires here. And I thought that it would be nice to have a circuit with the speaker in it, right? So put it in a case. There's a resistor here that changes the volume for the speaker, and then there's one here that changes the amount of signal to be injected. So there's two potentiometers and a speaker. And then there's a little section here that's some input voltage. Looks like there's 2 ways to input a voltage, and they're polarity protected, and then it goes into a Zener diode, and that Zener diode goes out to everything. V1 is the raw, and then the isolated one with the Zener diode goes to V2, which goes to that thing. So I don't know if I'll use that, or maybe a 3-terminal regular or something. I'll think about that. Anyway, I thought I could use these little boxes that I got. Remember these boxes I got from the estate sale? Well, this would be a great project. So I started working on it. I thought, well, wait a minute, I better film this. So I ripped the board out of it. So this board used to sit in here, and I tore the board out and disconnected all the wires. I'll save that for parts. There's that little audio transformer I might be able to use. Anyway, yeah, so it's got potentiometers on it, which I need. I need 2 potentiometers. It's got on-off switches, nice. It's got some connections here in the front, so I could have probes that plug into this, and detachable probes. That might be cool. And so I've already been working on it a little bit. I drilled some holes in the top And I've got this little speaker that's been on my bench for months and months. I don't remember what I tore it out of, but it's been on my bench for months and months, and I've been staring at it thinking, that'll come in handy someday. And well, here's the day. So it's 8 ohms and 1/10 of a watt, I guess. Looks like 0.1 watts. Made in Japan, so it should be a nice little speaker. And so I've mounted that in there. And so that'll go on. That'll go on like that. And yeah, I think this will be a good little project. So let me figure out what the circuit is and how to lay it out, and start building it. But I think it'll be good. Yeah. All right, I was taking a look at the schematic here, and this looks very familiar, right? This is our friend, the LM386. So I've used this before in a lot of projects, and so I know how to wire that one up. But I remembered I'd used it on a project that I did for some headphone amplifiers. I had a stereo, I used 2 of these, and I actually laid out a PCB board. So there's a section here for 2 of those LM386s, and so I can reuse that section. And then I was smart enough, I didn't need all of this area here, but I went ahead and made it a large size and put in a prototype area. So I can put this here as laid out, and then I can put this here over here on a prototype area. So it's all through-hole components, so yeah, no problem. So what I did, and I'll give you a close-up of this, is I've loaded the section here for the amplifier, but I did some strange prototyping down here. So yeah, let me change lenses, and I'll show you what I did down here. All right, here's the section with the amplifier, and as laid out. So that one's ready to go. And then over here, I have got 2 transistors, a capacitor. Oops, sorry. Let me see if I can focus on that. Yeah, it's hard to focus on. And a bunch of wires. So it must be something on the back. So on the back, what I've done is I've prototyped all surface mount. So this is really fun. This is all 100 lead centers. Hundredths of an inch, and or 0.1 inch centers. I'm sorry, 100 hundredths of an inch. Is that right? 100 thousandths of an inch. Can't get it right today. Anyway, 0.1 centers, and so like here's the capacitor, like this capacitor, and then there's there's 3 resistors to ground, and so I use this here as ground, so capacitor to ground. Here's a resistor to capacitor. Here's a capacitor resistor to ground. Here's resistor. Here's a bunch of, and then this will be the plus rail. So there's some pull-ups to the plus rail. The two transistors are down here. Anyway, I got the whole circuit right on the back here. This is a cool part here. I found these at the junk store. They are 2 microfarad in a tiny little package. So 2 microfarads is great. So the schematic called out a 1 microfarad. So I've got a 2 in there now. So I've got this all built up. So let's take a look at it on the oscilloscope, see if it does something. All right, I've hooked up some power and hooked up the oscilloscope over here. Focus on that. And it turns out to be an oscillator, as we expected. Those 3 capacitors are basically phase changes, right? They in the feedback loop, they then delay it a certain amount of time before it gets to feedback around again. And so it adds a phase delay, which sets the frequency of the oscillation. And so let's see if we can make it a little bigger and trigger on it. Yeah, there we go. It turns out to be a nice looking sine wave. So let's see, what frequency do we have? It's measuring, oh man, hard to read from across here. 100 and just over a kilohertz. I mean, just over a kilohertz. So it's just outputting a kilohertz tone, and that's going to be our injection signal to our circuit. So our tracer is just going to be an amplifier to hear things and a 1 kilohertz tone to inject, and that's all that little thing does. Yeah. So let's see if we can't put it in the box and make it into an actual thing. Okay, let me explain that one more time, how this thing oscillates, because I think I probably said that too fast. So if we just take a look at this here, this particular part of the circuit is just a buffer. This is a emitter follower and outputs. So this is a drive buffer. So this is the actual oscillator here, all right? And so you can look at this transistor. When the base goes high, then this thing turns on, and that pulls turns it on, so it pulls it down, because this resistor is bigger than that resistor. It pulls it down. So when this goes high, this goes low, right? So they're opposite. So this goes high. So you can imagine this is going high, and then this starts to go low, and that comes around over here, and it gets delayed by these capacitors. It gets delayed, and then this is going high, then this is coming down low, and then this will finally go down low. When this goes low, then this will start to go high again, and that will feed back around. And so that's the way that this thing oscillates. It's just a delay here, or think of it as a phase inversion. And that's the way this thing oscillates. So you pick these RC time constants, right? You can imagine that these are, charging waveforms on these capacitors. So, it charges that capacitor, then it charges that capacitor, then it charges that capacitor. So this is the RC time constants here that sends it through. So these were all calculated by the designer to make this thing 1 kilohertz. Okay, looks like there's another thing going on here. There's a little feedback here. So this is positive feedback, this is a negative feedback. When this goes high, this goes high. When this goes low, this goes low. So there's a little bit of negative feedback here to probably make it more sinusoidal instead of just being a whack square wave. Not really quite sure about that, but I think that's what that is doing. And so, yeah, so this part oscillates. And then the output, like I said, is just an emitter follower. So whatever the base does, the emitter does with drive current, and then it appears across this 2K resistor and then goes out on a 1 microfarad capacitor. I have a 2 microfarad in there, but that's fine. And then on the front panel will be this potentiometer and have an output capacitively coupled. And then on the other side, also I will need to add a front panel resistor. I'll use one of those to bring in the signal to the amplifier, and then wire it up to the speaker that I have mounted in my my top section. So there you go. All right, so I have it all wired up now, and so I made one change to the schematic. If you remember, I didn't know if I wanted to duplicate the circuit, and I thought it was a bit overkill. I've got tons of 3-volt regulators. I bought a tube of them, or got them free, or something. Anyway, I've got a whole bunch of 7808s, which are really weird voltages, right? 8 volt voltage. Sometimes it's used in radios. A lot of times you'll see them in there, but 8 volts is kind of a weird thing. And since I have 8 volts, and this circuit here would work just fine on 8 volts, I decided to replace all of this as just a 3-terminal regulator. Like I said, they're free because I got them. And so I just tacked it on right here. And so we can put on, I'm putting on 10 volts into the whole thing. So we'll put in 10 volts here. And now the thing should oscillate. Here's the output, and here's the input. So it's like a code practice oscillator. I think that was one of the very, 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 very first projects I ever built when I was a kid. I don't remember if I used a 555 or some other thing. and I had a real lousy little key. Yeah, so that was many, many moons ago. It must have been, gosh, must have been like when I was 10 or 12 or something like that. I don't know, a long time ago. So anyway, that seems to be working. I did put some potentiometers on the front, and I only need 2 of them, so I spaced them apart so I get my fat fingers in there. And yeah, so we will have to put it inside now. But yep, seems to be working. Okay. Well, you know, when you have something laying on your bench for a very long time and you're just looking for that right project and you just say, hey, this is the perfect thing, I'm going to put it inside here, and then you find out that it's dead. Yeah, this speaker is shorted out. It measures like 0.6 ohms. So yeah, it's no good. So I put it in a different speaker, and now it seems to be working. So let's demo it here. Let's turn it on. So I have the outputs here. So I'm going to use this guitar patch here, and I'm going to put the this is the in, and this is the out. I'm going to put them. I'm going to short them together, and then when I turn this on, we'll get a tone out. And this is the volume knob, and that's the intensity knob. It's a little bit touchy, but yeah, so that works great. And like I said, this is the input, so I have a function generator hooked up, so we turn it on and put the function generator here. So yeah, so it works good. I can disconnect all this now. I'll show you the final thing. So it's now volume and output, and volume and output, or input and output, and power switch. And I have to supply power outside right now, so I have to put 12 volts out there. But yeah, it's all one nice little package now, and maybe it'll come in handy someday.